So I want to introduce you to Jiva Maria Joy, who is the second secretary, and she's devoted to press information and culture section in the and works as an Indian Foreign Service officer at the Embassy of India in Spain. She's a person who is absolutely active in displaying skills in organizing and participating in all kinds of activities and putting people together to work with these activities. It is proof from her very early education to nowadays. She studied in Trivandrum in the Holy Angels Convent, the high school, then continued in Kendriya Vidyalaya Patam, then studied Bachelor of Technology and Civil Engineering in Trivandrum, in the College of Engineering in Trivandrum as well. And finally, she did a Master on Core Marketing in Narsi Monji Institute of Management Studies. And in all these places, she's been a committee member, she's been actively involved in the cultural, extracurricular events, etc., etc. So it's really the person in charge for this post in the embassy. So we're very glad to have Jiva Maria Joy with us, and we are eager to hear what she wants to tell us. And Jiva, thank you for being here. We are most honored, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Juan. You are very kind with your words of introduction. It's absolutely a pleasure for me to join this gathering today. As you mentioned, I have been here for more than 3.5 years now, and since the beginning, I have been focused on the cultural and education part, and it has been very satisfying. It has been demanding, but it has been a very satisfying experience because it has given me a chance to meet so many wonderful people who are so passionate about India. I've had the opportunity to meet with people from diverse backgrounds and have learned a lot from them as well. So thank you. And thank you to all the members of AEII and everyone who is listening today for tuning in. And I understand this will be uploaded in YouTube later on. So everyone who would be listening to it, welcome. And I take this opportunity to congratulate the association on behalf of the embassy and the government of India for such a wonderful initiative. I believe this is the first ever international doctoral symposium, and I'm sure that it is a positive step towards encouraging more and more young scholars to take up studies on India, to understand more. And I hope that the association becomes an invaluable bridge to bring both the countries together. So I'll just start with a short presentation that I have prepared so that it helps me with the flow, and also would be easier for the attendees to keep track. Do you tell me if you are able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you. So before I go straight to the cultural and academic relations, I just wanted to briefly mention about the India-Spain relations. It's very heartening to say that both our countries enjoy excellent bilateral relations. Both our countries are democracies, and we are strongly committed to values and principles of democracy, freedom, rule of law, multilateralism, etc. Our diplomatic relations began in 1956 when the Spanish embassy was first set up in New Delhi. But it took some years before we had the first resident ambassador in Spain, and that was in 1965. So today in Madrid, our embassy, we are a team of almost 50 members. We have honorary consul generals in Barcelona and Tenerife, where a lot of our community resides. We are concurrently accredited to the Principality of Andorra, and we just announced a Honorary Consul General there also. In the embassy, we mainly have wings on political, economics and commerce, press information and culture, and consular affairs. And today, when I was going through the preparations, I realized that maybe it's important to have a wing dedicated to education also, seeing the growing interest with respect to academic exchanges. So in terms of any bilateral relations, I believe the high level interactions between the head of states and head of governments is a vital part to the to giving a new momentum to the relations. And in the past years, we have had such wonderful interactions between the leaders of our two countries. We had the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Spain in May 2017 after a gap of 28 years. After that, the leaders, the foreign ministers, and the prime ministers have met a couple of times on the sidelines of various multilateral events. And in February 2019, the former Foreign Affairs Minister, which is called the External Affairs Minister of India, had visited Spain, and she was decorated with the Grand Cross of Order of Civil Merit for India's contribution in rescuing victims from the Nepal earthquakes, and almost 70 Spaniards were also rescued from there. And towards the end of 2019, in December, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs had visited Madrid to take part in the Asia Europe meeting, the ASEM meeting. And there also he had a chance to interact with several high-level dignitaries. So even during the pandemic, I would like to say that we have had excellent relations. Our Prime Minister had spoken on the phone. The foreign ministers had spoken more than 4 times over the phone. And India had sent a shipment of hydroxychloroquine, to help Spain's fight against COVID-19. And we are hopeful that the present Foreign Minister of Spain, Her Excellency Arantxa Gonzalez, she would be visiting India in April 2021 to take part in Raisina Dialogue, which is a very important geopolitical and geo-economic conference, which will happen in Delhi. And we also hope that it will pave the way for the visit of President of Government Pedro Sanchez to India, which is a long-awaited visit. Moving on to cultural relations, it is definitely one of the most important component of the bilateral relations between India and Spain. I think one of the main reasons for it is that both India and Spain are cultural superpowers. We are very diverse. We are blessed with cultural pluralism, and hence, there is a lot of interest in both the countries to understand and appreciate the culture and society of each other. So in terms of our cultural diplomacy in Spain, I would say definitely the Indian arts performances with respect to dance and music is definitely one of the strong components. And especially in the last decade, we have really stepped up the possibility of bringing troops and artists to a lot of cities in Spain and introduce them to the different art forms and music forms and artists and all the different diversities that exist in India. We are also happy that in Spain, I think from the 60s and the 70s, there is a lot of interest for yoga. Yoga as a physical exercise, as something to enhance, the breathing aspects, to enhance the well-being and the health aspects. So yoga is quite popular, and in almost all parts of Spain, you find yoga enthusiasts and yoga studios. And there is a growing interest for Ayurveda as well. It is cited as one of the natural methods or the medicinal systems. Even during COVID, we have seen how many people have chose to depend on natural remedies in order to boost immunity. And I believe every year there are a lot of Spaniards who go to various parts of India in terms of seeking some Ayurvedic massages or treatments or spending retreats in different parts. gastronomy is a very crucial element. I think it appeals to the senses of a person. And in Madrid and in Barcelona, there are more than 30-40 Indian restaurants. And also because Spain is a very touristic country, the gastronomy is popular in many European countries. And when the tourists come to Spain to enjoy their holidays, they do like to try out Indian cuisine. And for that reason, you see a lot of Indian restaurants in different popular touristic destination of Spain as well. Bollywood is another aspect which is very popular. I think a lot of the songs, the dances are very popular in Spain. I'm not sure to how much extent the movies as such are popular, because we have only very few distributors who bring the movies to Spain, and it is not as popular or as organized if you compare to other Asian countries. But from the embassy also, we for a long time we have been using and promoting movies as a tool of cultural diplomacy in order to increase the understanding of India in Spain. Another aspect is tourism. I think in 2017 we had launched direct flights from Madrid to Delhi, which is discontinued at the moment. But because of this direct flight, it really brought India closer to Spain. Delhi was just 9 hours away, and the Golden Triangle or Kerala or the wildlife tourism became very popular destinations for Spaniards. Also because of the low cost advantages, we are an English speaking country, and we have favorable weather. So we have a lot of Spanish tourists who's traveling to India. And because this direct visit to India gives them an opportunity to see and understand India firsthand, it has really helped to clear away any stereotypes that might have existed in the society. And we do have recognition for some of the famous personalities from India, thanks to the Spanish Nobel laureate Juan Ramon Jimenez and his wife Zenobia. A lot of the works of Rabindranath Tagore, who was the first Nobel laureate for us in literature, a lot of the works have been translated, and it is studied and understood. And also Mahatma Gandhi, because he's a global icon for peace and non-violence, and have encouraged and influenced a lot of other non-violent movements, be it in USA and South Africa. So there is a lot of understanding on such important personalities as well. Having said that, I believe that we all have always felt, and we always believe, that is a general respect for India's culture and society. The understanding level may vary in different levels, but overall there is a respect for India's culture and society, and we are definitely recognized as the world's largest democracy. So here I have a small smart art showing who are the main key actors in terms of the cultural and academic relations. In the embassy, we have a dedicated culture wing, which is headed by myself, and I have a couple of staff members who aid me. So we prepare a detailed cultural plan 6 months in advance. We work on a year-to-year basis. Our financial year begins in April and it ends in March. So we work towards bringing a lot of cultural content from India in terms of dance, music, conference and seminars, so speakers, professors, authors, poets. We bring film screenings. So that is how we work, and embassy tries to work with different cultural associations, private and public, and also the different cultural bodies of the Spanish government and also the Andorran government to bring quality cultural content to Spain and Andorra. Next, I will mention about Casa de la India. I'll also be covering Casa de la India in detail towards a later part of the presentation. So Casa de la India is a very unique concept for us. It is a cultural foundation, which is in a public-private partnership model. And the government of India is also a sponsor or a patron of the Casa de la India Foundation. And since we don't have a dedicated cultural center in Madrid, Casa de la India acts as the cultural center or the cultural platform for the embassy and brings together the different actors in India-Spain cultural management there. There are some prominent cultural associations. One is the Indian Cultural Center in Barcelona. It is headed by a senator of Indian origin. And we also have a Nupura Dance Academy in Barcelona, which is by an Indian artist who is dedicated to the dance form of Kathak, who are doing much more in terms of bringing together the diaspora as well as the local Spanish population and promoting Indian culture amongst them. And then we come to the association and the Institute of Indology, who works more towards, the academic exchanges and relations. I don't need to introduce about the association, which started in 2006, but year after year, the association has grown in terms of its membership and partnership, and it has really created a wonderful network of professors and scholars with the universities in different parts of Spain. And it is an excellent network and one of the core strengths for the cultural and academic relations that we enjoy here. And Institute of Indology, it is a not-for-profit association, which was started in 1995 by Padma Shri winner Dr. Rafael Irsubieta. It's an association of all the members, whether it's professors or just Indophiles who love India and who want to promote India or want to know more about India. So they have come together and over the years, they have organized a lot of activities. They have organized autumn conferences. They have organized poetry encounters or author encounters. But for now, one of their main activity is a dedicated summer course dedicated to India with the LS Corel campus of Complutense University. And then we have two important agencies from the Spanish government side, which also works towards the cultural and academic relations, and that is the Spain-India Council Foundation and Casa Asia. So Spain-India Council Foundation is a private, not-profit organization, and it brings towards important brings together important actors from scientific, technological, research, cultural, and academic interest. So it forms, it is part of the network of council foundations, which is promoted and supported by the Spanish Foreign Ministry. And it has many different important companies and actors and cultural associations which come together and devise year plan to promote India-Spain relations. Then we have Casa Asia, which is actually a public diplomacy body. It was one of the first institutions which was created to bring Spain closer towards Asia. It was founded in 2001 and it is made up of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Government of Catalonia, and the Madrid and Barcelona city councils. So a lot of the activities that Casa Asia is dedicated towards is to bring in more understanding in the institutional, economic, cultural, and the academic fields. And we are looking at new ways of collaborating with Casa Asia, especially in the framework of India at 75 celebration, since we'll soon be celebrating the 75 years since the independence of India, and we are devising new plans of collaboration with Casa Asia. Now we come to two significant entities from the part of Government of India, which helps in the cultural promotion in Spain. One is ICCR, which is the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. It is an autonomous body within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of India, and it is the cultural arm of our ministry. And then we have a dedicated Ministry of Culture, which also promotes the diverse Indian cultural elements within and abroad. I would like to explain a little bit more about the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, because the embassy, a lot of the majority of our coordination and planning and development of cultural programs happens in coordination with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. So this was founded back in 1950 in order to develop and foster India's understanding abroad, to coordinate all of India's external cultural actions, and to improve mutual understanding between India and other countries. And the way ICCR operates, the Indian Council for Cultural Relations operate, is that they have a global footprint of their own centers in more than 40 destinations. So they have a dedicated cultural centers which have a director and some team of teachers who pursue different aspects of Indian culture, whether it is dance or music or yoga or culture in general. They have multi-purpose halls, libraries, several resource materials, so that it could be a point, a meeting point for all scholars or Indiophiles who would want to understand more about India. And they also have a very good network of regional offices in different parts of India, and they work closely toward with the different state governments, the regional governments, in order to expand its footprint and also promote India's culture abroad. So the main activities of ICCR can be divided into two parts. One is the performing arts and the promotion of Indian culture, and one is the academic programs. So when you come to the performing arts, the visual arts, or the promotion programs, the main aspects are detailed in this diagram, as you can see on the screen. So one is in terms of the outgoing cultural delegations. So on an average, every year Spain receives 3 to 4 cultural groups. It may be dance, theater, puppetry, music, who come to Spain. They do a small tour in different parts of Spain. It is done in partnerships with City Council. It is done in partnership with prominent festivals of Spain, with the area of culture in universities or centros cívicos or the diaspora associations. So I'm proud to say that even in 2020, a year that was ravaged by the COVID-19 pandemic, the embassy was able to organize live concerts in Madrid, Leon, Malaga, and Valladolid, and all thanks to the support of the Spanish embassy in New Delhi, and also the strong will of the Spanish government to show that culture must go on, and it was one of the first sectors to be opened after the state of alarm was lifted last year in June. ICCR also facilitates the visit of cultural delegations from abroad, so that it gives an opportunity for the audience in India to understand and appreciate the culture of different countries. So from Spain also we have had teams, the music groups and flamenco groups and orchestra teams traveling to India and doing tours in different Indian cities, so that they are able to understand and appreciate Spain's diverse culture as well. ICCR also coordinates to celebrate India in a big way, which is called Festivals of India Overseas. And in this respect, they also work with other government entities. So for example, in 2019 we had the Guadalajara Book Fair in Mexico, and ICCR was the main coordinating agency to facilitate India's participation as a guest country and to arrange the pavilion and all of it. ICCR also carries out many international festivals in India, which is dedicated to music and dance and jazz and folk arts. So in the past, several groups from Spain have also traveled to India, and in such cases, ICCR provides for all the local hospitality and it coordinates with other cultural institutions to arrange for more performances of the cultural groups as well. Exhibitions is another key component for ICCR's cultural promotion. It facilitates both the sending of exhibitions to different countries and also receives quality exhibitions from different countries. It also gives travel grants to artists. I think in this respect, it is somewhat similar to the PISE grant by Acción Cultura, where the artists are free to avail the grant and perform in different places of their choosing. ICCR also have a lot of resource materials which they present it or gift it to different cultural associations. For example, to Casa de la India, when it was getting set up in the initial years, they had donated a lot of musical instruments, books, and other educational resources to Casa de la India. Another aspect is the gifting of busts and statues of important leaders or representatives of India, which is prominently displayed in prominent squares or buildings or government buildings in Spain. So I have a small some pictures of some of the most successful cultural promotions that we have done with ICCR. So the first picture shows the tour of Symphony Orchestra of Castilla Leon in India in January 2020. They had performed with the very renowned violinist L. Subramaniam in 3 different cities. The 23 members had traveled together and had a very successful tour where they brought together the Indian music and the Spanish music. Then we have like Surjahan Festival is a world music festival which is coordinated by ICCR and in which the team Leona and Serena Strings from Spain had participated there. Then we have had several quality cultural performances as part of cycles or as part of standalone programs. We have in 2016, we had celebrated 60 years of diplomatic relations between India and Spain. In 2017, we had celebrated 70 years of Indian independence. So we had a Bharatanatyam group, Chidambaram dance group who had come in. We had women performances, a lot of women performances were invited to Spain as part of a cycle, and vocalists and bowl singers and artists had come and performed in different cities. And Spain is a proud host of 5 Mahatma Gandhi statues. We have statues in Madrid, Valladolid, Burgos, and in Canary Islands. And the last one was inaugurated in December 2019 when the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs had visited and he inaugurated the statue in Adeje in Canary Islands. In terms of exhibition, we have had some very successful exhibitions in the past years. We had an exhibition which is titled Women by Women, which was a painting exhibition. We had the Forms of Devotion, which talked about the arts and spirituality and the religion in India. Since 2019 was dedicated to the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, we had an iconic exhibition at Casa de la Panadería in Madrid. We had in Casa de la India, Valladolid, and also in Casa de la Cultura in El Escorial. And last year, in December 2020, we had a very significant exhibition in Fernán Gómez Cultural Center in partnership with the Madrid City Council and Madrid Destino. It was titled Indian Odyssey, the universe of Ravi Shankar and the Beatles in India. So 2020 was the centenary of the legendary sitar player Ravi Shankar, who really brought East and West together, and he really popularized the Indian music in the West. And to commemorate his centenary and pay tribute to this wonderful artist, we had this exhibition in Fernán Gómez, and a part of the exhibition was comprised of rare musical instruments from as old as the 70th century, which was also displayed in Casa de la India, Valladolid. India in Concierto is a very special festival for us. It is a festival that the embassy and Kasagala India and other significant cultural partners have created together. This festival happens every 2 years in Teatros Canal of Madrid, and the same groups travel to other venues in Spain also. It's a 3-day festival with dance and music. And last year in October, we had celebrated the 6th edition of Indian Concierto, and it was sold out. And it was a very overwhelming experience for us, and it really helped us to understand the love for Indian art and culture that was prevalent in Spain. And in terms of movies and promotion of movies as a platform to improve the understanding of India, we have Imagine India, which is one of the longest running film festivals. It is celebrating its 18th edition. It also collaborates with the Asian Summer Festival of Casa Asia in order to popularize documentaries and films which is produced in the Indian subcontinent. We also have our own film festival, which is just celebrating its 3rd edition. It is called India Indie, and it showcases the independent films of India. So the 3rd edition, we had its inauguration in Mallorca with the Mallorca Film Commission in December, and we are just finishing with the India Indie in Círculo de Bellas Artes Madrid also. And we are also showcasing these independent movies in Film In platform. And last year, we also collaborated with the Asian Summer Film Festival in the city of Vic, Barcelona, which caters to commercial or popular movies. And since there is a large Indian community in Vic, we could collaborate with the festival and popularize gastronomy and movie and other cultural elements of India over there. For us, it is not just the promotion of India in Spain. For us, it's also the promotion of Spain and India together. And for that reason, we are really interested in a lot of cultural co-productions. Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, if you have not seen, please do see the movie. It is in Amazon Prime. It is an Indian movie which is shot exclusively in Spain. It was released in 2011, and it has done wonders to improve the understanding and the love for Spain in India. The festivals like La Tomatina, the San Fermin, the course of Costa Brava, flamenco, everything is so popular in India thanks to this film festival. We have had the famous director Carlos Saura directing the Flamenco India show, which was showcased in India and has really popularized flamenco. And we have had many events bringing together flamenco and the Indian dance form Kathak, which are similar in terms of rhythm and footwork. And just below Flamenco India, the picture that you see is from Shreyashi Nag, who's the artist in Barcelona, and her projects exploring both flamenco and Kathak together. We have had co-productions in terms of popularizing Spanish literature, and none better than Cervantes' Quixote. So Kathakali is a very popular classical dance form. It's a dance drama kind of dance form, and it was presented, the story of Quixote was presented in Kathakali. We have had some interesting collaborations in the music field also. L. Subramaniam and his two children, Bindu Subramaniam and Abhi Subramaniam, has worked with musicians like Jorge Prado to bring together Spanish and Indian music together. And sports is a very crucial element of our cultural diplomacy. La Liga, since its entry into Spain in the past 4 years, have really taken India by storm. It has really popularized football in many different parts. It organizes the professional training schools in almost 40 different cities. It is one of the most popular football leagues which is viewed in India. And we have our own football league, which is called the Indian Super League, and more than half of the teams, are coached by Spanish coaches and have many players from Spain as well. And since 2015, we also celebrate the Dia International de Yoga in more than 15 cities of Spain. So this is also an opportunity to bring together the enthusiasts of Spain in India, and also the enthusiasts of Spain and also the Indian community together and practice this ancient form of wisdom. So this is some of the important festivals with which we have collaborated, very iconic and international festivals, which is known not just in Europe, but also worldwide. And it's a privilege for India to present our culture in these platforms because it really, helps us to multiply the cultural promotion efforts. And for us, the diaspora is also a crucial element of our cultural promotion. In Spain, we have almost 60 to 70,000 diaspora, most of which are in Catalonia and in Canary Islands. So these cultural associations is a platform for this diaspora to stay connected to their roots, which is India. And hence they celebrate the festivals like Diwali, Holi, Christmas and national days with a lot of passion. And the youth and the children are, enthusiastic participants of these festivals. We also have a lot of religious places of worship like the temples and gurdwaras, and the Spaniards or any local host population is always welcome to this to these rituals and religious functions, and it really helps to understand and witness what it means to be an Indian, and what are our ways and our peculiar customs and traditions in these occasions. And I would really like to mention that one of our main mottos is Vasudevaga Kudumbaga, which is called the world is one family. And an important display of this has happened in 2020, when COVID-19 had struck and there was a lot of difficulties. Many Indian associations had come together and initiated many solidarity programs. A very successful one is Food Solidarity Program in Barcelona, which has been helping out the community, not just Indian community, but any community in Spain, with groceries and fresh vegetables and some financial aid also when it is really required. To just mention about Casa de la India, it is a very unique concept for us. It was established in 2003 and it was formally inaugurated in 2006. It is housed in a beautiful building in Valladolid. If anyone of you has not been to this Valladolid, I really encourage you, please do visit Casa de la India Valladolid. It is a small India, in Valladolid, and it has multi-purpose halls, auditoriums, an excellent library, a wonderful collection of musical instruments and other educational resources. So it is a platform where three important bodies have come together. One is the Government of India through the ICCR and the embassy. Other is the City Council of Valladolid, and the third partner is the University of Valladolid. So for Casa de la India, Casa de la India works closely with the embassy in terms of developing its cultural action plan, and it is dedicated to three main areas of work. One is the cultural part, where it works in performing arts, exhibitions, networking of artists, etc. And since University of Valladolid is an important patron of the Casa de la India, academics is another important area. So it works closely with the university and other professors, associations, and institutes to cater to deepening the understanding about India through academic exchanges. They have a unique program called Escuela de la India, which works with schools and colleges as well. And another one is in terms of bringing together civil society and business. Valladolid and the city of Ahmedabad in Gujarat is a twin city. It's the only twin city arrangement that we have between India and Spain. So in this aspect also, Casa de la India is one of the coordinating agencies to foster the dialogue between the Indian and the Spanish cities, and it works towards promoting tourism, business relations, events with chambers of commerce, etc. Coming to academic programs, I have just mentioned what is more relevant for Spain. So one aspect is that every year ICCR offers 10 scholarship slots for the Spanish students to pursue undergraduate, postgraduate, PhD courses, as well as Irish courses. Another important agenda for ICCR for promoting academic exchanges is through chairs or the cathedras. At present, we only have cathedras in University of Valladolid. We have the cathedra for Hindi since 2004, and we had also inaugurated the cathedra for contemporary Indian studies in 2020. But due to the pandemic, both the chairs are suspended for the time being, and we hope to resume it as soon as the COVID situation improves. We also have Distinguished Visitors Program, under which we nominate distinguished personalities to visit India and explore new avenues of collaboration. ICCR has awards dedicated to Sanskrit, Indology, and alumni. And Monica de la Fuente, a renowned artist of Bharatanatyam and Kathakali, had won the Distinguished Alumni Award in 2019. ICCR also contributes towards organizing conferences and seminars. And I believe the International Conference on Mahatma Gandhi, which the AIEI had done with University of Valladolid in 2019, was also facilitated through ICCR. And so the ICCR scholarships is an important platform for young scholars to pursue their studies on India. For now, the 2021-2022 scholarship have just been announced. The last date is till 15th April. So 5 slots for PhD doctoral courses have been announced. There are 100 global slots for culture-related studies, whether it's dance, music, performing arts, or Indian cuisine. So there is a dedicated scholarship portal, A2A portal, where the applicants can log on and give preferences to which courses and where they would like to study. And there is a verification process, and then they get nominated, and then the universities will select the candidates and convey their selection process. Earlier the ICCR chairs, there are almost 70 operational ICCR chairs in different countries. So they used to come for a period of 2 years. So now ICCR is relooking at their strategy, and they have decided to offer ICCR chairs for shorter duration. So to all the professors and key decision makers in different universities, I would recommend that they can look at ICCR chairs for shorter durations in whatever topics that interest them, to invite renowned professors from India, and they can handle courses and seminars and other academic events in their respective universities. We also have announced 2 new fellowships for music-related research to foreign scholars and also academicians, and that has just been announced. The details are there in our website, and if anyone would require more information, you're free to write to me as well. We also, are thankful to a lot of authors, both in India and Spain, for contributing to the understanding of both our cultures. So Oscar Pujol, who's also the director of Institute of Cervantes in New Delhi, is one of the foremost scholars, that we count on. He has done this magnum opus work, which is the Sanskrit Spanish and Sanskrit Catalan dictionaries. We have Juan Arnau, who is from the University of Granada and Valencia, who has done a lot of translations in Sanskrit. We have Enrique Gayud Jardiel, who is a professor at the Francisco Vitoria University in Madrid, who has done more than 70 books in India, whether it is related to mythology, personalities, also to Hindi as well. And we have had a lot of Spanish authors, appearing at the major literature festivals. Javier Moro, Guillermo Rodriguez. We also had a special delegation which traveled to Kerala last year as part of the centenary of Miguel Delibes. And I would just like to mention about Raymond Panikkar, who was one of the first persons to bridge India and Spain together. He was a proponent of Interfaith dialogue. And Editorial Kairos, which is run by his nephew, is doing a lot of publications based on India and to promote the understanding of Indian culture in Spain. We have many experts like Ramiro Kai, who writes on yoga, Eva Fernandez of Complutense University, who writes on Indian art, and Jesus Aguada on poetry. And it pains me to say that for a long time we have overlooked a lot of Hispanics in India, who from the 60s and the 70s have strived to deepen the Hispanic studies in India. Now it's Spanish studies and other related studies. So some of the names are there who have created a lot of publications and encounters and dialogue platforms between the scholars of India and Spain. And we have interesting publications like the India Logs of the association. We have publications like Papeles de la India, which was by ICCR, which is now discontinued. We have Hispanic Horizon, which is by the Center for Spanish Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University. So some frameworks of relations in the education and language teaching field. India and Spain have signed the Agreement on Cultural Cooperation in 1982, which remains valid. And there are short-term cultural exchange programs that is going on between India and Spain. So under which the scholarships and the ICCR chairs are offered to Spain. In return, the Spanish government recruits Indians as part of their language and cultural assistance program. The University Grants Commission, which is like the autonomous body which regulates the university education in India, they promote Spanish as a foreign language through inviting Spanish lecturers and providing for their stay in Indian universities. We have many collaborations between Spanish and Indian universities under the Erasmus Plus program. There are also a lot of MOUs as well, which is going on. And in older times, ISA and ICCR used to offer joint scholarships to a lot of scholars, and many of the Indologists that we have today have been recipients of this joint scholarships, and they have created this wealth of information on India in Spain now. So when I was discussing with the association in terms of what my presentation should cover, one of the important points to consider was about what are the different opportunities for the academicians and the young scholars to go to India or to pursue their studies on India. So one such initiative is the Global Initiative for Academic Networks. This was launched in order to attract the international talent pool to the higher education of India. So at present, it has started with the main technology related universities, but it will soon spread to other leading central and state universities as well, and covers the humanities and science and culture management and many different sectors. And this global initiative for academic networks facilitates for exchange of professors and visiting faculty. ASEM Duo India Fellowship Program is a new initiative. It was just launched in 2019 in order to promote exchange of professors and academicians between India and European countries. So Spain is also a part of this fellowship program, and they have just launched their call for their new call, under which researchers can apply for this fellowship program to facilitate exchanges between India and Spain. And University Grants Commission, as I had mentioned, is the autonomous body which regulates university education. They have launched some fellowships, but it mainly caters to Africa and Latin America, but some are maybe applicable to Spanish researchers as well. And then there are many institutes which welcome foreign students and faculty, but a lot of it is done on a private basis, and the Embassy of India really comes into picture to facilitate such exchanges. But having said that, like I mentioned in the beginning, we are really thinking of having a dedicated officer for education. There was a recent report, India-Spain report, that was released by Spain-India Council Foundation. And that report was a gold mine of information. It has really thrown light into a lot of exchanges, what has happened between India and Spain in terms of fostering academic relations. So I think we are at a crucial moment to decide on how we want to take the academic relations forward. So perhaps the embassy could also come in here and foster the relations. So in terms of way forward, I would just say that what we are looking at is we need to create the next generation of Indologists, and which is why the efforts of the association in initiatives such as this international symposium is very crucial to attract more and more young scholars towards India. We would like to showcase more aspects about contemporary India, its culture, its society, its art in different parts of Spain. There is no official degree on India, whether it is in undergraduate or masters. So we hope that we can create more ICCR chairs in different Spanish universities, and then we can have an official graduate and master's program dedicated to India. While it works well for us as a cultural platform, but having said that, we would also like to have some space of our own in Madrid to enhance our visibility. In the coming years, we would also be focusing on more translation project, academic exchange projects, because Spanish is by 2050 it will be one of the leading foreign languages, and India is also very diverse in terms of its language elements, and these translation projects will deeply benefit the people to understand each other's culture and society. And we would also collaborate for more Indo-Spanish co-productions in terms of all exchange, whether it is in form of scholarships, grants, visitor programs, residency programs, etc., so that we can bring together people to create new elements and showcase both India and Spain together in all platforms. So with that, I would like to conclude. I think I have stuck to my time limits. I might have been very fast, but I hope it has been an informative session for all of you.